All right, welcome back. It is October 2nd, 2024. Yeah, it's month of October now. Hurricane season is in full swing, and I just wanted to briefly kind of recap here and just give some stats and information. Hurricane Helene did in fact make landfall as a category 4 major hurricane and brought actually significant flooding from the Big Bend all the way back up here into, uh, the mid Atlantic and like southern regions of the United States, like parts of definitely parts of Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina. I think little bits of West Virginia as well got in on some of it. It has been catastrophic though. But that is supposed to lighten up. However, this isn't gonna be the main focus. It's gonna the main focus of today's video will actually be the mainland United States. Enough with the tropics, but they're exploding. As you see, we have two areas out in the Atlantic. Which is supposed to be a major hurricane, uh, in the next couple of days, and then just 13, which isn't won't be a land threat. What could become a land threat is this outline right here. Again, we have another threat of development, 40 to 60% within the next 7 days. Right now, it's looking like we're gonna get some sort of formation, but it being an actual hurricane seems very low at this time. However, enough about the tropics. We've taught all we've really spoke about in the last few videos has been the tropics, and that's also why I kind of haven't recorded or posted, or posted. I posted so late just because a lot of it has been focused on the tropics and the impacts. But that's enough. Today it's gonna be about the mainland United States. So let's get right into it. All right. So obviously, to the person that isn't really and like knows much about weather, you see a bunch of colors here. You see a bunch of big blobs up here, and a bunch of like pinks and reds and like browns and blacks. I'm just gonna simplify this for you. We're only just looking at colors that eject down into here because that's ultimately what the main. Those are troughs, and that's also what could bring the potential for severe weather and such like that. So I'm just gonna kick things off here. We've had this trough that's just gonna skirt on, or this disturbance or low pressure system that's gonna skirt on by. Not gonna bring anything to us. However, the first signal for something to happen to the mainland United States will be this right here. We have a little dip right here, and this it could become something closer to the eastern part of the United States. The reason for that is there's a currently high pressure that's been centered over the kind of mid to western coast, which is essentially creating a block, which is allowing kind of stuff to swoop in over here on the east and pretty much trapping all of, like the warmer kind of October temperatures all out here, which that is supposed to continue at least for the first few weeks of October. And in this trough isn't is supposed to eject pretty late. It's supposed to it could We actually could see some very cold temperatures up here in parts of Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, areas like that, New York. We could see some very cold temperatures up there, which is a little bit unusual for October. And yeah, and over the last couple of days, this has become more of a threat. So obviously, we'll have to watch this carefully. It shouldn't bring any severe weather, but it could bring some sort of cool down or like a way cooler, below average temperatures for this time of year. But I don't think anything more of that, like some snow or whatever, that shouldn't happen. But you can see that will kind of stall out a little bit and deepen as the days go on. From there, we kind of you see this. This is basically a big boring period for a lot of the United States. Maybe a little bit less up here, but still, it's going to be relatively calm. In fact, it's going to be very calm. We're not going to see much. We're gonna. We're still gonna. We may see some activities start brew up down here, depending on how that looks like or depending on how that looks like the rest of October. But everywhere else, mainland wise, it's gonna see pretty nice fall weather. You have fun, like just see some nice sunshine and just have some nice fall temperatures and weather to enjoy. This will last. As you can see, the high pressure sets in all across the United States here. However, this won't last. You can see pretty rapidly here. It goes from a calm to just this. This could be two things. One, severe weather, mainly in this area, or just very cold temperatures. Actually, you can kind of see it's a multi. You can see there's an ejection here, which doesn't become anything. But we have a secondary trough with a low pressure system that will swing down. This is where we could see either, you know, nonetheless a major cool down, which we could see our first snowflakes somewhere here, whether that's Michigan or Ohio, Maryland, like any of that region. We could see our first snowflakes of the year in this region as we have this intense drop down right there. And we're going to take a look at the jet stream here in a second. This is just to show all the troughs and kind of in a higher resolution area. You can see that swings down and that kind of sets up a break line. There's still high pressure that's set in here. So after, this trough slides out, we don't really know what's going to happen. Again, we also don't know what's going to happen with this. This could be a total hoax. This is hundreds of hours out. This is hundreds and hundreds of hours out. This is in terms of models, of course, but this isn't something to worry about. But we're going to take a look at the jet stream now to see what that has to say for weather. Alrighty, so this is the jet stream. As you can see, the time is up here. I forgot to put that on the other mod or what thing I showed you, the other model I showed you. But just so you know, that was the mid to end of October when we saw the big trough, which we'll likely see in the jet stream. But you can see this is the current kind of activity that's going on. We've had some general stuff happen all throughout the United States. Been sort of calm over here in the southern western area, heading into the south central to southern region. We still have some activity from not rain showers per se, but like we still have some like just some leftover stuff from Hurricane Helene, which is still that has brought terrible impacts to from anywhere from really from the Big Bend of Florida all the way up here into parts of Kentucky, more of I think Western Kentucky, but still that's brought some major impacts here. But we're not going to worry about that. We're gonna have heading this on this Friday, October 4th. We're gonna see maybe a little dip in the jet stream, which is what that first dip was. Like I said, not this shouldn't be anything too significant. Maybe a cool down could bring some showers, some general showers across the entire mid Atlantic region over there. And then we have a bigger kind of dip, which again you can see it kind of stalls out a little bit, which could bring that threat for seeing some rain showers, maybe some storms here and there, but nonetheless a cool down, which I will show the temperature plot here in just a few moments. But after that kind of runs through, here's this break I was talking about. I mean, we have this trough or this exiting trough, which shouldn't bring too much to anything once it's stationed way over here. But everywhere else is calm. You can see the central United States is extremely calm. The West maybe has a little bit of activity going on, but nothing like concerning, like nothing like with heavy snow in Colorado that we would start to see around this year. Nothing. We could see some snow showers though within the next couple of weeks heading into November, which is crazy to talk about, but we could see some there. But this, I mean, remember, this is 222 hours out from today. Things are obligated to change. But you can see a lot of peace. But you can see then we have this giant trough right here, which basically ruins the party. A lot of people like to see nice fall, calm weather. We will see that until we see this. We have a giant trough that's going to eject. This, I mean, this is, it's an alarming signal. Nothing to be concerned about today because remember, it's 282 hours out. But nonetheless, that's still something to watch because it's been showing up pretty consistently on the other models, especially this one, which this first initial trough does not seem to be anything significant. Still, though, could bring some rain showers and storms to areas that have seen plenty of water. But nonetheless, of course, this is the more concerning one. Large trough that comes in from, you know, that kind of is conveyor belting straight into here because we have remember, we're still going to have high pressure kind of blocking this area, which is going to ultimately create a bubble over in the western coast. Of course, in the east, this is going to kind of create a slip and a ramp to kind of go down and shoot up of. Of course, this high pressure will obviously shift around. It's not going to stay in this one area. It's going to move around, but the general consensus is it's going to create a ramp where just any troughs can really dampen and signify as they come from Canada, which I mean could bring severe weather to snow to possible like extreme not extremely cold, but way super below average cold temperatures, and just really all sorts of stuff around Thursday. We could see this around Thursday, October 17th. Um, but again, things are obligated to change as this is 354 hours out from today. Things are obligated to change. After that, it looks like we could get a brief breaking period. This the model stops here at 384 hours out, which is obviously I think it should stop way before that to give accurate forecasts because we've seen think troughs like this way in the past and nothing's ever happened. But nonetheless, it's good to look out. It's good to look out very far to see what's the possibilities. Otherwise, um, not we could see a small break before we see a possible another trough eject. This time, it could come off the Rocky Mountains, which could pose a bigger threat to the Midwest. However, can't see that. But what we can see is the temperature plots. I'm going to switch over to that right now. Alrighty, so this is current or not current. This is pretty much current. You could say this is right. This is the model run from today, and you can see a lot of the United States is cold, or not cold, but like lower in averages for temperature wise than this time of year. Talk, and I feel like any other time of year would see a little bit higher temperatures. Yes, fall is here. We're starting to see fall like leaves on the trees, stuff like that, move into United States, stuff like that. But because of Hurricane Helene, and we've had cold fronts from Canada kind of eject in over here to parts of really the west of the Rockies, so it's a lot cooler, and and a lot of moisture has been here. So a lot of well saturated areas, a lot of just nice weather. If we could get a break, which we are going to get a break, so a lot of nice weather is on the way. Um, However, we can see that we're still having those some of those hotter temperatures. You can see this is and this is this would be this would be in like the afternoon. Let's say it's still Wednesday, October 2nd. You can see we're still having some of those summer temperatures linger around. Just in a lot of those areas where we saw those Hurricane Helene impacts, obviously besides Florida, but north of Florida, a lot of where we've seen Hurricane Helene's impacts. It's been very cool. Right over in this general region. It's been very cool, and that's going to stay that way. As you can see, we can kind of see sort of a cold front beginning to develop here. Another one that we kind of can see to develop doesn't really get strong, but I don't know if you see that right up here in kind of north central tier, we get a kind of a sign, a, and we kind of get like a blowing motion, like that, so to speak. And I mean, we kind of get a blowing motion that kind of is like a travel, sort of like this almost. The that's what would that kind of signals something major. You can kind of see it almost looks like a wind blowing kind of this way. That's where there's that concern for something, to happen. Because at around the time this happens, there's a trough that ejects. There's a trough here, and and there's a millibar system and all of that stuff. And that's where we're gonna start to see activity ramp up again. After that, you can see temperatures kind of plummet really everywhere. You can see in the Midwest where we saw those deep reds before, 80s, 90s, those now go to, 60s, 70s, maybe even the 80s, and further south you go. Come over here to the Northeast, again, 171 hours, don't know how accurate this is. This is just a preliminary look at. You can see we could see temperatures well into, the 50s, 40s, maybe even areas in the 30s, which is a bit extreme, I think, for October 9th, but still could happen. And then from there, you can kind of see things warm up again. Actually, kind of a lot. You can see Oklahoma returns to those very high temperatures. And then, that activity really ramps up again. You can kind of see a lot of these bright blues like this obviously that would be in the mornings, yeah, this a lot of these bright blues towards the end of the month, like around Friday, October 18th, Tuesday, all of that coming from Canada. That's all those troughs that I showed in the jet stream prior prior to this. So again, this it's pretty valuable stuff to keep in mind. But yeah, finally, we're gonna take a look at the simulated radar to kind of close out this forecast for today. So let's head over to that. All right, so this is pretty much right now. You can kind of see there's really not much precipitation going on, rather than the future. In the future, we could see a lot of Gulf moisture from that potential new development area down in the south. It's kind of going to be like just kind of dumping rain on the New Orleans area down in Louisiana, parts of Mississippi, and around the Florida Panhandle and parts of Alabama. However, that's not expected to, well, it's not expected to become anything significant, but you can already see we're seeing possible snow showers up in Canada begin, and we can see we already got these two trough systems, which is signifying of winter storms, as that's how they typically go. You can see this, this is the first trough I was talking about, start bringing showers and possible showers and storms to parts of the eastern coast, and then from there there's that break period. You can see pretty boring weather, as I would say. There's really not much going on really anywhere. We're finally That's where we're gonna be able to enjoy that nice, cool kind of just fall weather. We can see this anywhere from October 10th, extending to probably October 14th before we actually start to see this new developing trough, which will bring rain showers and stuff down into actually all across the eastern coast right here and heading into the mid-Atlantic region come possibly Monday, October 14th. After that, this is probably not going to happen. We could see potential snowstorm and potential snowflakes here in upstate New York and stuff like that. You can see we have this rain right here, that moisture which would sweep in, bringing those extremely colder temperatures from the trough that would eject. You can kind of see with that, it doesn't pull that much moisture up here, but those lingering snow that that it does pull up, kind of sticks around. That you can see there's some snow here, even some lingering back down here. So we could easily see our first flakes, by the end of October with the way that things are turning up to be. After that, again, very calm period. So the consensus is gonna go. It's gonna be busy, busy, calm, busy, calm. It'll go from busy. It's gonna go from really busy, busy, calm, busy, calm. Eventually, that'll flip over depending on how things run out. But as of right now, that's what that looks like. So, just want to thank you all for watching. So I know it's been a little while since I posted. I've just been waiting for something to actually talk about, and I actually finally found something regarding this. So this is a big breakdown. The next thing we probably talk about will be a little bit more on the golf and seeing what that potential new system is going to do. At this time, nothing major, but that could change. So yeah, I don't know when that video is going to be, but yeah, it's hope I should give an update on that in the next couple of days. But if nothing big happens with that, expect another mainland forecast within the next within the next few days. So thank you guys for watching. I will see everybody in the next forecast.